Hashtag make Star Wars fun again.
And I've seen people in chat, it always comes up, yes, I asked for harder questions, and that's exactly what I got. Go ahead and blame me for all the questions that are way too hard to even have fun for.
Like,
that's okay. I'll take it. I'll take the blame.
Like, I don't want to go on a soapbox. I'm not going to do it. I go on a soapbox. I'm not going to. I'm going to be nice.
I'm just waiting for the day where it's like, what is the 37th letter in the crawl that is not a vowel, but is mentioned 6 times in the 5th sentence? What?
Here's my baby soapbox. Here's my tiny soapbox. If the average fan can't play along, it's not fun.
I agree with you. And it's kind of adding on top of that. That's why I think we talked about it behind the scenes. I think personally that Star Wars should just completely fold back into the Intergeekdom division.
I don't disagree.
At this point, I kind of agree. They made it Patreon exclusive. It almost seems like no one cares about it anymore. A lot of the players don't even care about it anymore. It
was my favorite. It was my favorite division last year, and probably the last like 2 or 3 years. Like it's been my favorite thing to watch because obviously Star Wars is Star Wars, but also the competitors and what they bring to the table. But like Jill said, I went from last year being able to play along a little bit to this year answering maybe a third of the questions.
Yeah.
And it's nothing. And we're not going after the writers or doing any
No,
of that.
it's gotten to that point where they have to write these.
They don't have a choice.
No.
And if that's the case, in my humble opinion, I think that Star Wars should fold right back into Intergeekdom and there shouldn't be a Star Wars division anymore. That is just my opinion.
And I used to be on the bandwagon of, oh my God, why would we get rid of the Star Wars division? But like, I remember back when Alex was still champion, if the questions were still like, I would never win the belt. God, no. But like, I could hang.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would be able to hang with, that type of, like, now.
Yeah.
I can maybe get a question or two if I'm lucky. It's just, I don't know. If the average player can't play along, then it's just not enjoyable to watch, in my opinion. Especially when we're getting like freaking Adam Witt and Gold Leader, who are amazing at this game, and they're almost getting TKO'd. Like,
yeah.
They were both down by 10 going into the
I feel
no
like no one has time.
Some of the best numbers the Schmoedown has ever seen were from the Twitch live Star Wars tournament.
Mm-hmm.
There were over 1,000 people watching those live, and I know it's very difficult to put those things on live because I had done several live ones and they're not fun, very stressful for everyone involved, but still, like, they got a lot of viewers on the Star Wars stuff, but it's the upkeep on the entertainment value for Star Wars trivia is very difficult
100%.
And we're definitely seeing that now. We're seeing it kind of reach its peak, and it's got to like,
I think it did already reach its peak.
I think last year was its peak.
My whole thing is, and this isn't shade to people working on the show or anything, but like, it's not even crossing 1,000 views per episode of a Star Wars match. When we were doing the Twitch ones, like, they were like 1,000 views by the time we were done with it. And in a logistic sense, the people working on it, like the writers and stuff, the amount of work they're putting in to find these difficult questions, not to mention the amount of time and work and all that the competitors have to do, like, and your payoff isn't like that much. Like, Star Wars is my favorite division, but it's almost just not worth it.
We'll put it this way. Thomas had to give up the belt. Our champion gave up the belt because he didn't have time to study.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he knows, like, he's all about like all or nothing. Like, he really wants to put 100% of himself into this, and
Yeah.
he came into the league at a point that we've never seen before. It's unprecedented, the amount of studying and like the level of difficulty of these questions. He came into it like that. So for people like him that came into it when it was already that high, like you can't go much higher than that.
Yep.
So the only way to go from there is down. So I totally understand him stepping away.
I have a crazy idea.
Shoot.
An absolutely insane idea. And this is building off of what Brian Nussbaum said in the chat. Brian Nussbaum said that he would much rather have a Disney or MCU division over Star Wars, which has been talked about it's been talked about for a long time. Here is my insane idea. Okay. So you have singles, teams, and Inner Geekdom as your 3 divisions. And every year, instead of building a division, which I guess you can consider a division, you essentially have competitors enter in a year-long division, for lack of a better term.
And it changes every year.
And it's a different topic every year. And there's a winner at the end of each year with a ranking system.
You could do a giant tournament with a loser bracket too.
Well, what I'm saying is like from calendar years, from February to December or November, whatever, say next year is MCU. That is your one chance to play all MCU trivia. And then the next year it goes to like Harry Potter. The next year it goes to Lord of the Rings. Instead of it being a single division on something like that, it's a rotating division each year, and you plan it ahead.
That would bring in so many new viewers, because for me, the reason why I even started watching the show is because Sean was watching it, and he would try and find me matches where someone would land on a Disney slice. And in doing that, that's how I really, I got to see everything. It's like, yeah, I'm waiting for them to get Disney or Harry Potter. But like I started watching the rest of the show because I got hooked trying to see my niche in it. You know, if you give a niche audience and you show that niche for even just a season, a half a season, they're going to stick around. And if like maybe not all of them will stick around, but you'll get a percentage that sticks around and watches the entire thing after the fact.
Like if you do, because think about it, we've had Star Wars for its 6th year, 6th year. Officially, somewhere around there. And all of that has been on extended at a certain time, but basically 12 movies for that entire time for at least a 4-year period. If you were to do 1 year on 8 Harry Potter films, if you include Fantastic Beasts, it's just over 10. If you do 1 year on 30 MCU properties, you wouldn't have the issue of going in extreme deep dive questions. You do 1 year and you move on to the next topic. Like, it could be a lot of fun. It would be difficult, but question writers could have a full year to prepare for that if they plan it.
Maybe next year we get. How long have we been saying the horror division?
Next year's basically a year-long horror tournament, and there is your horror thing.
I guarantee you would have people flocking.
You'll get people out of the woodwork.
Pixar, Disney Animation, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter. How many geekdom franchises or franchises in general? Jurassic Park. Like, how many of those could you do for a full year worth of trivia that would bring in a lot of people? And then after the calendar year, it's over. Or you do 6 months. Maybe just do like a 6-month thing.
Do one tournament.
I think Disney is a really good idea for that. Like a timed division or a timed tournament. Like do it for a year or 6 months. Put it in the vault, put it in the Schmoedown vault, and then take it back out in, 3 years or something like that. I think that would be that. It sounds like a long time, but for the players, that's how much time you need to just like cut yourself off of it.
I'd compete in that.
Not stress out about it anymore, and then come back into it with the same amount of compassion and excitement as you did when you first got into it. You need a nice big long break. And enough content to give the question writers, enough leeway to write enough questions and play with the difficulty. But I think you're right. With Star Wars, it's just we've been picking over the same movies for so
You
long.
can only do so much without it getting just downright ridiculous.
Yeah, you've given all those Star Wars players enough time to study these movies, hours, every day for however long, weeks, months, and you give people that amount of time with the same content. Eventually, yes, you will have people that have memorized the entire movie, the entire script, the entire IMDb page. So there's a point where you got to retire it for a time and then bring it back somewhere later down the road when people are excited about it again.
Agreed. If someone wants to write up the contract of us taking over the Schmoedown, just let us
know. I don't want to. I don't want to.
They can take our ideas as long as they give us credit.
Creative director, I'm fine with getting a title for, but any of the actual work, no thank you.
Fair.